sitting in the hair salon while Audrey gets Bird's hair on deck right now. We just had lunch at the Rivers Inn restaurant, which is behind us here. It was super delicious. I had myself a whole entire 10-inch pizza, and now we're chilling like it's a beach next to the river here. So we just went downhill about 6 miles for the day, and to get out of here we got to go uphill another 7 right across there. So we're taking our sweet time, just because that doesn't sound fun with a full belly. It's beautiful out. It's supposedly supposed to rain tonight, but we're hoping to get to Sassafras Gap before that happens. So today is day 16, and just to go over some things that I've previously mentioned that I've taken care of for an update. Yesterday we were at the NOC. Got to have some lunch after doing a 6-mile hike down into that valley, and then a 7-mile hike back out. Yesterday was actually the most elevation change that we did over one day's span. It was 5,019 feet overall. So that's really awesome that we were able to hit that. It was super tiring towards the end. I also ordered a replacement for my Thermarest. So thank you to those people working for Thermarest and taking care of things. That should be sent to me in Gatlinburg. So I'll be able to pick that up at the NOC store there. Other than that, still hiking with Audrey, hitting the same miles, but taking our own paces at it each day. So been hiking with a couple different people today, and yeah, got a couple miles in until lunch, and then after lunch it's just 6 more to finish out a almost 16-mile day. And then tomorrow we're planning on Neroing into Fontana Dam, and then taking the 0 day for Easter on Sunday, which will include yoga and lots of town snacks, hopefully. But yeah, super ready to actually take a 0 finally. Sometimes the trail is just a big pile of rocks that you just gotta scramble across. So these puppers woke us up at 6:20 in the morning, barking their heads off along with their mom and dad, and then they just followed us about 5.5 miles down to the Gap and are now hanging out and being super cute.
I don't know what your name is. Rocco. Rocco? It's a girl.
It could be Rocco.
So,
Yeah,
hey buddy. Hi.
someone once told me the name of
Come
the dog
here.
with like a Y or I.
Come here.
Oh.
Oh.
Here we go.
This is day 18, slack packing with Audrey.
I was making horrible faces.
Okay, yeah, with Audrey. And last night we stayed at the Fontana Dam Hilton and had a good full moon party. And now it is Easter, April Fool's Day, April 1st. We shuttled in and got too much all you can eat, but should be an all you should eat because we're stuffed breakfast. And now we are doing the 1.1 mile from the crossings back to the shelter that we missed out on yesterday. And it's beautiful out. And this is all the water. Easter Trail magic. We're at Fontana Dam. I wanted to come and check this out and see what everything's about. And
Reminds me of the beach.
it's very serene.
Oh, we gotta check that.
Very beautiful.
Are we gonna do the dam?
This is the bottomless pit of the dam.
Imagine this as a water slide.
That would be excruciating and
No,
terrifying.
I mean, like, it would be like smooth.
Oh, like an okay water slide.
Yeah, a real water slide. Ooh, I saw one of these guys today. Oh, cool. It's a 5-stripe skink.
Obviously, folks.
Mhm. Looks like it might be what if it's like the moss reacting?
So much trash down there. That makes me so upset. Like, what are you doing? Come on, human beings. Trash.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Tripping. Got the Smokies out here. And a long way down. Alright, so this is morning number 2 in the Smokies. Going through a wall of rhododendron right now, going down the rocky cliff. So that is one of the outlooks. That is a really, really good view over here, but we got to an earlier start this morning, which I'm kind of liking so far. I think we started hiking around 7 o'clock, so we're trying to hit a 16.3 mile day today, which should be quite doable with the sunlight based on when we got up. But for being the first night in the Smokies, my main worry was about the shelter rules. We actually had a bear incident and bear activity near the shelter that we stayed at. It was the shelter right before, just a couple days ahead of time. So we were all being really cautious of that. But the Smokies, the rule is that if you're a thru hiker, you have to stay in the shelter if there's room. But then the other rule is that if somebody comes through who is not a thru hiker and they have a reservation for the shelter, then you have to vacate so that they can take their spots, which doesn't seem unreasonable. If somebody's showing up, you know, at 5 p.m. we're all eating, and then you have to set up your tent. But my thought was, what happens if somebody shows up really late and everybody's asleep? And sure enough, At 10:45, 4 people come in with their white lights on, saying that they have reservations in a full shelter of thru hikers. So that was really, really obnoxious. Luckily, the last guy in humbly made his way out and slept on his tarp out by the eating area, since it was too dark to set up his stuff at that point, obviously. And then the rest of us just scooted over so we could squeeze these people in. So when you're going to bed at 7:30 every night, that's a little obnoxious to have people coming in 3 hours after you went to sleep. But we made it work. That's all that matters. Today's a new day, and hopefully those people get off to a better start and now know a little bit more about the etiquette of the trail. So yeah, and other than that, feeling really good. Glad that we took zeros, or a zero, sorry, back at the Hilton Fontana Dam, because my feet were aching in certain spots and now they're not, and my legs still feel really strong for doing what we are. Yeah, we're going into Gatlinburg, and not today, but tomorrow. That will also be us hitting our 200-mile marker and checking off the highest point on the trail at Klingman's Dome, also all in one day. And then we get to go into Gatlinburg, and I can get my sleeping pad that's been sent there finally, so I don't have to air it up at odd times in the morning. So really excited, definitely, to get that. It is day 21, and we are at Klingman's Dome, about to hit the highest point on the AT. Well, actually, we're technically already here, but we're gonna go up to the top of the dome and see what the beautiful view is. We just hiked through a bunch of pine, lots of like moss wooded area. It was beautiful. It's been my favorite day so far, and it just started. Southern view from Klingman's Dome. We've got a gentleman performing trail magic here, and we got everything we could want. And then there's BB. So Audrey was missing her rock climbing, and we finally found a wall at the NOC of Gatlinburg. So she's super stoked to be climbing this, probably 5-10 maybe. So today went a little bit more unexpected than planned and anticipated. I went to the NOC to get my sleeping pad, and Audrey needed to pick up some packages too, but my pad still isn't in yet, and is apparently not going to be here till Friday. But the wonderful people that work at the NOC are going to do everything they can to forward it to me once it does show up.